Sometimes what we call humility is really fear just in a nice outfit. Hi, I'm Dr. Lori Stevick Rust. 40 years of sitting with people through their hardest moments has taught me one thing. Our power lives in our courage to be real. This is where we stop pretending and we find our way back to ourselves. I'm glad you're here. Now pull up a chair. This is Becoming Real. Hey, you. You look beautiful today. Yeah, you. I see you. And I know what you're saying and probably doing right now. Women and compliments. They go together like, well, they often don't. We all know it, and we've seen it in action. You know that moment when someone gives a woman a compliment? Somebody says, you look beautiful today. And instead of saying, thank you, she suddenly becomes a defense attorney. Oh no, this dress, I got it on sale. My hair, well, it's actually filthy. This old thing, I've had it for, I don't know, maybe 12 years. My skin, it's just the lighting in here. My house, oh, please don't look in the corners. My work, honestly, I just threw this together. Sometimes what we call humility is really fear just in a nice outfit. I know you're out there nodding or laughing because you know it's all true. We do not accept compliments well. Instead, we cross-examine them. Someone says, you did a great job. And we respond like we're being accused of fraud. Are you sure? Because I actually messed up the middle part and I was sweating through my shirt and I forgot one sentence. And honestly, I think everyone noticed. No one noticed, but we noticed. You know, a compliment comes in and instead of letting it land, we swat it away like it's some kind of a mosquito. No. Don't look at me. Don't praise me. Let me make myself smaller so nobody gets uncomfortable. Meanwhile, some people accept compliments with full Moira Rose energy. If you're familiar with Schitt's Creek. Yes, really, there are some of those kind of people. Now, truthfully, they're mostly men, but on occasion, a real live rogue woman can do it too. You know, they don't just receive the compliment. They absorb it right down into their soul. They rename themselves and they float out of the room in a dramatic wig. And honestly, maybe we need a little more of that. I'm not talking about arrogance or inflated egos. Not like we're walking into the grocery store like we're accepting a Lifetime Achievement Award. Just the ability to let something good be true about us for more than maybe 4 seconds. Because the show Mean Girls, of all things, explained the psychology of this perfectly in about 15 seconds. If you're familiar with the show, Regina George walks up to Katie and says, "You're really pretty." Katie says, "Thank you." And Regina immediately turns to her and says, "So you agree? You think you're really pretty." And there it is, the trap laid bare for all of us to see. Because the message women have been receiving since approximately, I'm going to argue maybe forever, is this. Accepting a compliment is the same thing as being conceited. The only safe response is to immediately dismantle whatever nice thing someone just said about you. Hand it back to them. Make it smaller. Step away from it like it has your name on it by mistake. And that is what many women learn to do. We learn to reject praise before someone can accuse us of believing it. We learn to soften our confidence before someone calls it, arrogance. We learn to shrink the compliment down so far so we do not look like we're taking up too much space in a room, too much attention, too much focus. Because for many women, a compliment does not simply land as a kind word. It may feel like exposure or too much attention. It lands as, oh no, now I have to manage this moment. And I think it's time we talk about the dreaded, often feared thing called a compliment. Whatever should we do with it? I mean, why is it so hard for so many women to accept a compliment? Why does praise make us squirm so much? Why do we feel the need to explain it away, shrink it down, hand credit to everyone else, or make a joke before anyone can take us seriously? And more importantly, what would happen if we simply said, thank you? I know that sounds like earth-shaking and scary and maybe even a bit overwhelming. And I don't mean thank you like, thank you but, thank you although. Or thank you, I actually hate this outfit and bought it in a panic. Just a straight up thank you. I know it sounds like a radical idea, maybe even a little dangerous, and possibly even illegal in some of the women groups that I know. Now, of course, we can laugh about this, and we should, because it's funny and it's true. It is funny how we can take a perfectly kind moment and turn it into a full public relations crisis. Somebody says you look great, and within 3 seconds, we've told them about the sale rack, the bad lighting, the dry shampoo, and the fact that we almost did not leave the house. Now that's a real talent. But underneath it all is something deeper. When someone gives us a compliment, our brain does something very fast. Before we even have time to respond, there's a little internal audit that's happening. Is this true? Do I believe this about myself? Do I deserve this? Does this match the picture I already carry of who I am? And that matters because we all have what psychologists call a self-concept. And it's basically the story that we carry around about ourselves. Maybe your story is, I'm capable. Maybe it's, I'm not enough. Maybe it's, I'm the helper, the fixer, the one who has to keep it all together. We all have these internal stories, and the brain likes consistency. It likes new information to match the old story already on file. So if someone gives you a compliment that fits how you are seeing yourself on the inside, it may feel great, and you can accept it. In therapy, I often refer to this as the Velcro. What we receive on the outside, if it matches our insides, sticks to us like Velcro. But if someone says something kind that does not fit the story that we're carrying, it can feel really uncomfortable. Not because the compliment is false, but because it creates a gap. Someone says you're really talented, and your inner story says, I'm just faking it. Someone says you look beautiful, and your inner critic says, clearly they've not seen me under fluorescent lighting. Someone says, you handled that so well, and your mind quickly goes to, if they only knew how much I was unraveling on the inside. The discomfort is real, and so we immediately go into action by closing the gap. Quickly, we deflect, we minimize, we explain it away, we make the compliment smaller so we don't have to stretch our self-image to be so big as to hold it. Because usually it's not the compliment itself that makes us uncomfortable. It's the possibility that it might be true that begins to make us squirm. Because if it's true, then we may have to see ourselves differently. And that's scary. That's big. That can feel risky. That's a bigger ask than most of us realize. But what I'm talking about is not just our personal psychology. It's in our culture. Women have been given very specific messages about what it means to think well of ourselves. And those messages have not exactly been generous. There are many generational messages that we've received as women. Confidence labeled as arrogance. Owning our accomplishments was often called bragging, still is. Taking up space was often called being too much. Being proud of yourself was something you were supposed to keep quiet if you allowed yourself to feel it at all. We were taught that modesty was a virtue, and genuine modesty can be beautiful. There's something deeply grounded about not needing to prove our worth every time we walk into a room. But somewhere along the way, many of us were handed a distorted version of modesty. We called it humility, but a lot of the time it was simply self-erasure dressed up as good manners. We learned not to look too pleased with ourselves, not to seem too confident, not to own the room too comfortably, not to receive it too openly. So we learned to perform modesty. Someone praises our work, and we rush to say we threw it together. Someone compliments how we look, and we give them the full medical history of our exhaustion. Someone notices our leadership, and we immediately explain why it was not that impressive. And listen, I get it. And there's a lot of humor underneath all of this, and we joke about it and we laugh it off. But sometimes this humor is actually just a reflection and a reflex to get out of being seen. Sometimes what we call humility is really fear just in a nice outfit. These are the rules in groups of women, unspoken rules, never voted on, never written down, but absolutely operating. You can give a compliment, but you cannot simply receive one. If someone says you look great, you're supposed to say something back that lowers the temperature of the room. Oh, this whole thing, it's just the lighting. I got it on sale. I look like a disaster. And if a woman simply says thank you and means it, the room can get kind of weird because she's broken the agreement. She let the compliment land. And that can make people uncomfortable because she showed another possibility. Sometimes the woman who cannot receive praise herself yet feels uneasy watching another woman do it with ease. So without realizing it, groups could create a kind of emotional ceiling. Let's all stay small enough that no one feels the gap. Let's all pretend together. We call it humility, but sometimes it's just a collective agreement to stay small. And that agreement costs us a lot. Okay, so why is any of this important? Well, it's important because the woman who cannot receive a compliment is often the same woman who struggles to receive other things like recognition, support, rest, money, opportunity, love, and authority. The woman who says, oh, it was nothing, may also be the same woman who does not negotiate her salary or put her name forward, send the pitch, ask for the raise, speak up in the meeting, or walk into the room like she belongs there. Now, this doesn't happen because she's not capable, but because she's been practicing every day in tiny ways, stepping away from what is hers. And that practice has consequences. Confidence and self-doubt are built in small moments. Every time we reject something true and good about ourselves, we rehearse not receiving it. And over time, that becomes a way of living. You can be hungry for recognition and still unable to receive it. That is one of the painful ironies I've seen again and again. So many women are starving to be seen, but when somebody does actually see them, they can't let it in. The armor that was supposed to protect them from seeming arrogant ends up protecting them from feeling loved, appreciated, and recognized. And that is a really high price to pay. And that's where I want to be very clear. Confidence is not arrogance. It's not walking around thinking you're better than everyone else. It's not pretending you never doubt yourself. Confidence at its most basic is the ability to let true things be true, including the good things, especially the good things. If you worked hard, you can say you worked hard. If you're skilled, you can acknowledge you are skilled. If you look beautiful, you can say thank you. If you made a difference, you can let that matter. If someone sees something in you, you don't have to immediately explain why they're wrong. You can be humble and still receive. You can be grateful and still own your effort. And you can take up space without fearing that taking up space is taking it away from someone else. That's the difference between power over and power with. Power over somebody else says, for me to be big, you have to be small. Power with says, I can stand fully in who I am and invite you to do the same. That's the kind of confidence women need more than ever. Not this performative kind, not the fake influencer kind, but the real kind. The kind that does not need to dominate the room, but also does not need to disappear from it. So I hope you let all of this sink in, and I want to leave you with 3 things to think about and steps that you might be able to take this week. First, pay attention to yourself. This week, notice what you do when someone compliments you. It might be really uncomfortable, especially when you hear how many times you dismiss it. Do you reject it, shrink it, explain it, make a joke, or immediately compliment them back so the attention moves away from you? Do you say, oh, this old thing? Do you bring up the sale price? Do you tell them all the reasons that they are wrong? Just notice this. Notice it about yourself. Notice it with curiosity, because I'm going to tell you, it shows up far more than you realize. Because your first response tells you something. It tells you how comfortable you are with being seen. It tells you what kind of praise feels safe. It tells you where your self-image may still be too small for your actual life. The life that you want, the life that you're living. The second takeaway is to practice the pause. Now, this is my favorite because I think it's the most powerful. And anybody who's ever been in therapy or consultation with me knows I say this quite often. When someone compliments you, pause for a second. That's it. Just 1 second. And it can feel really uncomfortable. Don't rush to fill the space. Don't rescue the other person from their own kindness. Don't immediately throw yourself under the bus. Just pause. Let the compliment land. Let your body feel the awkwardness without needing to escape. Then say, thank you. Or, thank you, that means a lot. Thank you, I worked hard for that. Thank you, I'm practicing receiving compliments. I actually love that one because it's honest and it gives other women permission to do the same. Imagine if someone said you look beautiful and you said, thank you, I'm practicing on not arguing with the compliment. That's funny, but it's also real. And it takes the tension away from the compliment. The third takeaway is this: raise the ceiling. Stop calling self-erasure humility in yourself and in other women. Humility is not pretending you're less than you are. It's not rejecting every kind thing that's said about you. And it's certainly not making yourself smaller so other people feel comfortable. Real humility has room for truth, all of it. The truth that you are still learning, the truth that you had help, the truth that you make mistakes, and also the truth that you're capable, wise, beautiful, strong, and valuable. A grounded, confident woman can hold both. She can say, I still have growing to do, and I did that well. That's not arrogance. That's integration. That's becoming real. And we have to let other women practice this too. When you compliment a woman and she says, thank you, don't make it weird. Do not tease her. Don't test her. Don't pull a Regina George and say, so you agree. Let her have it. Help her have it. Let her stand there. Let her receive it. Because one of the ways we change this culture is by not punishing women who are brave enough to stop shrinking. We can normalize women saying, thank you. I'm proud of that. I worked hard. That means a lot. Or I'm learning to own that. We can raise the ceiling for each other. Maybe the next time a woman receives a compliment without deflecting, instead of feeling threatened, we can feel invited. Like maybe there's more room than we thought. So the next time someone gives you a compliment, try not to file an appeal. Try not to call witnesses. I know, I've seen that. Try not to enter evidence against yourself. Just pause, breathe, and say thank you. Let it be awkward. Let it be weird. Let it be new. Let it be true. Because becoming real is not just about owning the painful parts of who we are. It's also about owning the good stuff, the capable stuff, the beautiful parts, the powerful parts, the parts other people may see before we're ready to claim them. So this week, let something kind simply land. And because maybe, just maybe, you do not have to argue with the truth anymore. I know, right? And maybe thank you is where that starts. Wait. Stop the music. Hey, you. Yeah, you. I loved your presentation. I thought your insight and ideas around that issue were really creative. Okay, now you know what to do. Until next time, stay real. Thank you for spending your time with us today. Before you go, if this episode touched something real in you, please consider sharing it with someone who may need that too. If you'd like to stay connected beyond the podcast, sign up for my email list at drloristevick.com. That's where I share more reflections, resources, and an invitation to join the real conversation, which is my free live monthly gathering for women who want deeper conversations beyond the podcast. Until next time, be brave enough to be real.